Guys, my husband turned my 8-week meal plan into an app. It's super user-friendly and such a fun way to work your way through my 8-week meal plan. Using the app allows you to favorite your favorite recipes from each week so you can reference them easily. You can take personal notes on each recipe. You can sort the shopping lists by recipe or category. And you can check steps off your to-do list for the week to keep you on track. Plus, you can get the whole first week for free at 8weekmealplan.com. I've got my Bluetooth headphones on, and we are about to meal prep a bunch of food because my family is heading up to the mountains. We are escaping the heat here in Kuala Lumpur, and I'm gonna meal prep a bunch of your suggestions, so let's jump into the kitchen. I've already done quite a bit of meal prep off camera because you guys have seen me make nut butter so many times, but I have almond butter, peanut butter, and hummus. Hummus we'll be snacking on with crackers and veggies. Peanut butter I need to use in just a little bit to make some peanut butter bars. And we are also just gonna take the rest up with us because we put it on everything. And then I like to have another kind of nut butter on hand as well. So we are already off to a good start. So a couple weeks ago, I was in a food rut. I feel like I've been in a food rut for a long time where I feel like I make all the same foods over and over again. We're all kind of feeling sick of eating the same meals on rotation. And so I put a post out to ask you what I should meal prep. I wanted to know what you guys like to meal prep or just see if some of your suggestions got me out of my cooking rut. So there were quite a few ideas for burgers. Like I said, we were about to head up to the mountains, so I didn't have a ton of time to grocery shop, so I needed to use what I had, and I had a bunch of chickpeas already cooked. I made that hummus, and then here I'm making some chickpea burgers. So I've made chickpea burgers a ton in the past, but I wanted to make kind of a hybrid between a bean burger and seitan. So this was some pulsed up chickpeas with spices, some chopped up walnuts, and then I also added in some Vital wheat gluten to help bind these burgers together and give them more of a meaty, hearty taste. And once I had my dough all put together, I formed it into patties and just pressed it down, made them all into a burger shape, and then baked these in the oven until they were golden brown and ready to go. Because I'm avoiding soy as much as I can, I did still use some soy sauce to season these burgers, but I am enjoying using Vital wheat gluten just to switch things up so I'm not only eating beans all of the time. I find a plant-based diet pretty limiting if you aren't able to eat soy, so definitely trying to get creative. For some dessert that I wanted to take up to our cabin, I used Ellie's suggestion for a sweet, high-protein snack, and I basically made some Reese's cups, but a little bit healthier with my homemade natural peanut butter. It's sweetened with just a touch of maple syrup, and then you stir in some ground almonds or almond flour, and that is the base of these peanut butter bars. And then you can either form it into a rectangle, or what I like to do to make them more of the peanut butter cup shape is I put silicone muffin liners into my muffin tin, and then I pressed in about 2 tablespoons or 1 tablespoon of the peanut butter filling. You can really use as much as you want depending on how thick you want these. I couldn't find a few of my silicone muffin liners, so I just made mine a little bit thicker so that we could finish off the peanut butter filling. And then for the topping, it's pretty self-explanatory. I just chopped up some chocolate, added a teeny bit of coconut oil because I find that makes it shiny and helps it melt. And then once that was melted, I just dolloped a little bit on top, spread it around so that it covered all of the peanut butter filling, and you could even sprinkle on a little bit of smoked sea salt or something fancy like that, or some chopped peanuts, and stick these in the freezer until they're set, and you are ready for some yummy desserts. And in the time I made those peanut butter cups, my burgers were ready. These are delicious, and they held their shape more as I baked them longer. I just ate that part to taste what it would be like and make sure it was cooked through, and these will come in so handy at our Airbnb. You guys have seen me make these 1,000 times, but I knew we would want one more snack, and so I ended up making some cocoa balls, as we call them now, because I've been adding cocoa powder to them. These are basically energy bites made with oats, ground flax seeds. You can add in whatever spices or mix-ins you want. I put in some pumpkin seeds and cocoa powder, and just a little bit of chocolate that I chopped up finely so that it would go further. And once I've got all my dry ingredients stirred together, I added in quite a bit of that natural peanut butter and just a little bit of honey or maple syrup. I forget which one I used. And this is another higher protein, hearty whole grain snack that came in really handy, especially my son loves cocoa balls. I need to limit him from eating more than 2 because they are definitely full of fiber, but he loved these and enjoyed them at our Airbnb. For another lunch option or a topping to go on our burgers, someone had talked about BLTs. They actually said a tofu BLT salad, but the BLT part just stuck with me, and since I'm trying to avoid soy, I decided to make eggplant bacon. This was something my friend had mentioned in person a little while ago as an option to get my kids to like eggplant, so it all just came together in my mind and we made some eggplant bacon. I just cut my eggplant into very thin strips, whipped up a little marinade with some soy sauce, liquid smoke, paprika. I will be leaving all of the recipes linked down below. And once I had my marinade, I just coated that onto these eggplant slices, flipped them over, put some more on the other side. And once they were nice and coated, I just put these into the oven until they were kind of caramelized or cooked through. And these were a fun topping to have on sandwiches or those chickpea burgers while we were at our Airbnb. Next, I made some nacho cheese sauce. I have made this so many times and I think I even showed it in my last video, so I didn't show you how to make it. I'll link it down below, but I made it because someone mentioned nachos and I was thinking, wow, that sounds amazing. So I made all the components and then we brought them up to our Airbnb to enjoy nachos for a couple meals. For the main base, I decided to make a walnut and mushroom mince. Someone else had mentioned that and it sounded good. It's soy-free. So I basically chopped up some walnuts and some mushrooms in my food processor. And then in a skillet with a little bit of olive oil, I sauteed some onion until translucent, added in some minced garlic, cooked that up for a little bit before adding in all of my chopped and minced mushrooms and walnuts. This is the base of the nachos or the taco filling or burrito bowls, whatever you want to make. And once that had cooked down a bit, I added in quite a bit of spices and then a little bit of soy sauce to help caramelize everything, as well as tomato paste and I believe a little bit of liquid smoke. So I just stirred that all together so that all of the spices coated the mushrooms and walnuts. There's the liquid smoke. I love liquid smoke as kind of a meaty flavoring. It kind of gives you the feeling of a smoked meat. So yes, added that with a little bit more salt because I felt like it needed it, and just cooked this down until it was golden and some of the moisture had evaporated. Ashley suggested overnight oats, and I thought that was a great idea. I haven't made them in a while, and I always end up making chocolatey things. It's just a bad habit, so I thankfully remembered to just make some cookie dough overnight oats, which I left the chocolate out of, but I basically stirred some almond butter, or cashew butter works really well, into my milk, and then I added in oats and chia seeds, and you could add in cinnamon if you want kind of a cinnamon cookie flavor, but the almond butter that you add gives these oats a richer flavor, and especially if you use cashew butter, it gives them kind of a cookie flavor. So usually I would add in some chopped chocolate chips, but I decided to keep it plain because I knew we already had chocolatey snacks and desserts, so we just kind of kept it pretty simple. I added some maple syrup for sweetness. If you have it on hand, you could also use a flavored and sweetened nut milk or non-dairy milk to sweeten your oats. Whenever we're going on a trip, I always last minute start to think, I don't think I have enough food. And I get worried that we'll run out of food because where we were going didn't have a ton of grocery stores. So last minute, I decided to just whip up some muffins. I used my one bowl kind of basic muffin recipe that you can adapt to be whatever flavor you want it to be. And I just decided to make a different flavor that I hadn't made in a long time, which were some carrot muffins. I used whole wheat flour as the base. Definitely didn't remember to make a flax egg, so I'm just going to use a normal egg. But yes, you can use flax eggs in these recipes. And because I'm using whole wheat flour, I'm definitely going to need more milk. I can already tell. Then I'm gonna add in a cup of these shredded carrots. So you don't wanna overmix your batter. I definitely under added my liquid ingredients, so I needed to stir those in to get it all incorporated, but the less mixing you do when making muffins, the better. I also added in some craisins for a little bit of tart sweetness, and that was my muffin batter ready to go. I decided to make jumbo muffins just because it sounded easier, and I had already used my silicone muffin cups for my peanut butter cups, so just divided the batter between 6 jumbo muffin cups, and I knew we could cut them in half or share them, and it would just be easier to transport 6 larger muffins. Once I got those muffins in the oven, I decided to make a salad. A lot of you guys mentioned summery salads or crisp salads, so I decided to make a salad that would last a while and not get soggy, and usually cabbage or just some kind of cruciferous salad does that perfectly. So I cut up some green cabbage, some purple cabbage, and then I had some of that extra carrot, shredded carrot from the muffins left over, so I added that as well. As you can see, this made a ton of salad. It was very hard to get through. For the dressing, I originally was gonna make a cashew crunch salad, but I couldn't find some of the ingredients, so I just looked up an Asian salad dressing, kind of with sesame as the main ingredient, and I just whipped that up with some olive oil, a teeny bit of honey, some sesame oil, and tasted it to make sure it was ready to go. It had some rice vinegar as well, I believe. Added that to all of my chopped up veggies along with some chopped up green onion. Stirred it all together and then just tasted it. It definitely could have used some more dressing, but it was pretty flavorful, especially that first night. We actually had it this night with dinner, but we used some edamame as the protein, and that was a very hearty salad that me and my husband mainly enjoyed during our time on our trip. By this point, my muffins were done. I got them out of the pan once they had cooled a little bit and then allowed them to cool completely on a wire rack. My taco filling had also cooled quite a bit, so I got it into a Tupperware container, and then that was all ready to go. We are done with our vacation meal prep. I've got a big batch of hummus and salsa. I've got our peanut butter cups, big batch of overnight oats. These are the chickpea burgers. In here we have our cocoa energy bites, eggplant bacon that I need to find a clean container for, a huge salad. We're gonna have some tonight and then take the rest with us. The walnut mushroom meat, and some muffins, which may be a little dry. I would have loved to have applesauce to put in them or something, but they will hold us over. And then I guess I'm actually gonna make a loaf of sourdough bread tonight, maybe 2, just so that we have lots of calories in the house so that we are stocked for the 3 days that we're there. Since moving to Kuala Lumpur 4 years ago, I have yet to go up to the mountains. My husband has gone a few times, but this was such a treat to come to this beautiful Airbnb that our friends recommended to us. They set up a tent for the kids, they had a covered couch outside, they had bikes, and a big screen TV if we wanted to watch a show, and we thoroughly enjoyed the cooler weather and some homemade food that was already prepped and ready to go, and this beautiful view of the mountains. I mean, is that not stunning? Yeah, we really enjoyed being able to wear pants and sweatshirts and eat our food outside. Yes, there were still mosquitoes, but it was lovely weather and we really enjoyed our time.